BJJ for breakfast.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for coming back to the channel. Today I wanted to answer a question that I often get on what's the best way to improve your game and or to gap fill any problems that you're having in your jiu-jitsu game. Now, this is a pretty common experience a lot of us have around blue belt, late blue belt, early purple belt, where when you're a white belt fresh off the street and you don't know anything, literally everything you're taught improves your game. Every submission, every escape, every movement, every takedown. You don't know anything, so the learning curve is pretty steep, as is the improvement curve. You're going up, 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 up really fast. But then as you kind of get late into the late blue belt stage, early purple belt, a lot of people hit a plateau. They now have a game. They're comfortable with it. It's stuff that they're good at, but they have a lot of gaps in their game, and or they're having trouble adding new things to their game because they're very much in the mindset of, I don't want to lose and I just want to go and roll and win, right? And because of that, they stick to the stuff that they're good at, and they don't try new stuff. And then when they do try new stuff, it doesn't work, and they get discouraged, and it creates a feedback loop where they get more and more pigeonholed in just being good at certain things. I had this experience when I was a baby purple belt. I had a really, really, really good close guard. And I did a lot of MMA specific jiu-jitsu prior to just basically dedicating myself to gi jiu-jitsu full-time at purple belt. So if I ever opened my guard, my whole purpose was to just basically stand back up, okay? If you were in my closed guard, you had a hard time getting out, and I had a lot of submissions and sweeps I could throw at you. But once you open my guard, I would basically just stand up and turn it into a fight. So wanting to focus on jiu-jitsu, I really wanted to get good at having all these really cool open guards that I would see guys having. De la Riva, spider, lasso, lasso, de la Riva, lasso, spider, X, single leg X. All this really cool stuff wasn't really in my wheelhouse when I got the purple belt. So I made a conscious effort to add that stuff to my wheelhouse, and I knew it was going to be a backslide for me on the mats in the training room initially, but that long term, the work would pay off. So basically what I got into was the science of learning, or the science of improvement, which is kind of intentional training, which they use in all sports. Anytime you're trying to get good at anything, there's this iterative process, this process of trial and error and repeating and drilling down on what you want to fix. That goes on, okay? And I'm going to explain to you guys how to do that in a jiu-jitsu context, okay? So I'm going to give you a series of steps here to follow, and then anytime you're trying to add something new to your game, or you're trying to plug a hole in your game, just follow this process, trust the process, and it'll get you to where you need to be, okay? So step one is identify the problem, or the thing that you want to add to your game, or the hole in your game that you want to fix, okay? This by itself is an important step, okay? A lot of times we just go to jiu-jitsu practice and we're not intentional. We just go there to have fun. We roll around. We count on our coach to just explain whatever we need to know to us, and we just trust that we're getting whatever we need. But once you get past blue belt and you know the basics, you're not going to get necessarily everything you need from your coach. You need to be intentional about your own training. You need to think about your own jiu-jitsu, okay? What am I missing, right? What am I good at? What am I not good at? What do I need to improve, all right? And what will help you with this process is a jiu-jitsu journal, okay? This was a big paradigm shift for me. When I started writing down after practice what things weren't working for me and what I wanted to work on, it really opened up this whole process for me. Because if you can't identify the issue, or if you can't remember the issue, right? A lot of times we'll go to practice, we'll get caught in something, bummer, slap hands, let's go again. You get off the mat and it's gone, okay? You don't spend any time to think like, well, what happened there? What did I get caught in? Or what pass was working on me? Or what pass was I trying that wasn't working, okay? So having a journal in your bag that you can go to immediately after class, flip it open, jot down a couple notes of things that weren't working that you need to fix, or maybe things that were working that you want to build on, okay? Doesn't have to be an essay. All right, just a couple quick notes to remind yourself later on when you're before bed, when you're cruising YouTube or when you're at work and you should be working, but you're cruising YouTube and you're looking up jiu-jitsu moves. Having that as the trigger and helping yourself remember is very important. Okay, so get yourself a jiu-jitsu journal, jot down some quick notes after class. Identify the thing that you need to fix. That's step one. Okay. Step two, research the solution. Okay. Lots of different ways to research solutions for problems you're having in jiu-jitsu. Step one should always be to ask your coach. Okay. You've got a resource right in front of you who's more experienced than you. They can save you a lot of time in the research process by just telling you a lot of times. If you ask them the question or if you show them what's going on and why it's working, what's not working, they will frequently, not always, but frequently say, oh yeah, here's what's happening. Bing, bang, boom. Okay. Practice this move. Do this instead. Right. Another way, because your coach isn't always going to have the answer to your question. Okay. Maybe it's a question they had never seen before. No one knows nothing, or no one knows everything, I should say, in the jiu-jitsu game. Okay. It's a constantly evolving process. New moves are being made up every day. New positions are being invented every day. And sometimes you will bring a question to your coach and they won't have an answer. They'll say, oh, I've never seen that before. Okay. It's very common now. Everyone's inventing new stuff every 5 seconds. So backup plan, if your coach doesn't know, because we don't know everything, is to do some research on your own. Okay. Ask your other training partners. Easiest thing to do is the person that caught you in the thing or the person that keeps passing your guard or doing whatever it is to you. Ask them how they're doing what they're doing. Okay. Maybe they'll have information for you. Maybe they're just doing it instinctually and they won't really have any good information for you. But whatever they tell you, it should be useful. Maybe they won't have the counter though. Maybe they'll just know how to do the move. You ask them how to counter it and they say, I don't know. Okay. If none of that works, there's always YouTube and there's always instructionals. All right. Instructionals are great. Oftentimes they give you more information than you need. If it's just one position or one move you're having trouble with, then maybe an instructional isn't for you. Okay. Unless the thing you want to do is open up a whole new branch to your jiu-jitsu. Okay, maybe you really want to go down the De La Riva rabbit hole, and a De La Riva instructional would be helpful, right? But if you're already good at De La Riva and it's just one move in De La Riva you're having trouble with, then a whole instructional about De La Riva probably isn't necessary. You just need to look up that specific move that's not working for you or that is working on you, and you need to find the counter to it. Okay. So that's step two, is research the solution, either through asking people more experienced than you or through self-study, YouTube and instructionals. All right. Then step three is you need to test the solution to make sure that it is in fact the solution for the problem that you're having. Okay. Because sometimes we think we found the solution. We think that's going to get us what we're looking for. It's going to fix the problem. And then when we go to implement it, for one reason or another, it doesn't work. Okay. So to test the solution now that you've found or been given by your coach, you need to do another little sub process under this larger process. All right. That starts with drilling. You got to drill whatever it is you want to implement. You need to put it into your muscle memory. Okay. So I recommend whatever level you're at in jiu-jitsu. Usually a white belt, this isn't really necessary, but later into your blue belt process, like I said, when you start developing a game and getting a game, you should set aside some workshop time, is what I call it. Okay. Some time to just think and tinker around with your jiu-jitsu, to try stuff, to test new moves. Okay. This doesn't have to be hours and hours and hours a week. You can spend 10 to 15 minutes after practice with a buddy or two, just workshopping stuff. Okay. That's great. If you don't have time right after practice, you could get there before practice and workshop stuff. If that isn't the case, if you have an hour and a half blocked out on Tuesdays and that's the only time that day that you can do jiu-jitsu and you got to get home because you got a crazy life or whatever, then I would say try to find one day during the week where you could block out 30 minutes to an hour, get a jiu-jitsu buddy, one of your jiu-jitsu buddies, hit him up. Hey bro, are you free on Sunday, 10 a.m.? Let's go and let's workshop some stuff. I'll help you with stuff you're working on. You help me with stuff I'm working on. And this is not a competitive meetup at all. The entire purpose of the meetup is to work on, tinker with your jiu-jitsu and the problems that you're having, okay? And then maybe if you want to do some like live 50% speed situational stuff to kind of test drive this stuff on these during the workshop sessions, that's fine. But that's really not the purpose of the workshop sessions. The purpose of it is to get some reps in on a problem that you're having and a potential solution, and to try the solution on another human body that moves like a human body moves, okay, and vice versa, right? So you carve out some workshop time, you workshop this stuff, okay, you drill a little bit. And then once you get it into your muscle memory and you feel like you kind of know the mechanics of the move, now you need to test it in a situational role, okay? That can either be during your workshop time, but like I said, most of that workshop time should be drilling and fine-tuning. Or if you don't have a bunch of free time to just do situational roles, when you're in class and you're starting just during the sparring session, okay, ask your training partner before you start the roll, can we start in this position, whatever the position is. If you're having trouble escaping from side control, say, hey, let's start in side control. I'm working on a new escape, okay? Or if you're working on a sleeve and collar pass, I was working on sleeve and collar passes a couple months ago. So every roll, I just said, hey, put me in sleeve and collar. I'm trying out some new passes. Don't let me pass, okay? Do whatever you want. I'm going to try to get past, okay? And you force yourself to get those reps. And guess what? It's not going to work initially, all right? You're going to have trouble, but you got to kind of work out the kinks. Now, that comes to our third step in the testing process, which is video, all right? You should set up a camera off to the side where you're rolling. Tell your partner, hey, I'm working on some new stuff. I'm going to set up a camera, right? I'm not going to put it on YouTube. I just want it for my own edification. See what I'm doing wrong and what I'm doing right. I've never had anyone have an issue with this, okay? As long as you're honest about not posting this stuff, and you shouldn't be. This is for your own purposes only. You're watching tape, just like in football, basketball, baseball. You're watching tape to see what worked and what didn't, okay? So that's the testing process for any of these solutions or new things you want to add to your game, all right? Drill it, workshop it, situational roll it, film it, and then review the tape, okay? Evaluate the move or the fix or the position. Did it work like it was supposed to? Did it not work? Okay. This is why tape is so important. There's different reasons stuff doesn't work. All right. So watch the tape and see. Did you properly do it? Okay. Watch on the tape. Did I properly implement the technique I was trying to implement? And did I get the desired result? If not, then you probably don't have the right fix for what your original problem was. All right. Maybe you thought the problem was A and it was really B. And now you know. Okay. Maybe you thought that you weren't getting out of the escape, or you weren't escaping the position because you didn't have the right escape, but really it's not the escapes, it's the frames. You're not getting proper frames, okay? Whatever, just an example. But if you're executing the move correctly and not getting the desired result, then you need to go all the way back to step 2, which is research the solution, okay? You found the wrong solution for the problem. You need the correct solution. So go back and do some more research. Maybe go back and ask your coach again, hey, I did what you said, but I'm still having this problem. And then maybe with a little better explanation from you, or maybe a little more context, the coach can say, oh, okay, now I know the problem. Here's what's going on. Or go back to YouTube or the instructional and do some more research, okay? Find a new potential solution and then do the test again, right? Drill it, situational it, and then video it and see if you're getting the desired result. Now, the other thing that you may find out from the video is that you're just improperly doing the technique. If that's the case, great, okay? We've identified that as the problem. Then go back to the testing phase and get more drilling in, get more situational in, okay? Repeat that process until the technique starts working as it's supposed to work. And now if it's working as it's supposed to work and you're getting out or you're getting the desired result, great, perfect. Check that box, move on to the next problem, right? But if it's working as it's supposed to work and you're not getting the desired result, okay, now we go back to step 1, we do some more research, we find a new thing, we drill it, we test it, repeat, rinse and repeat, okay? So if you take this process, this iterative process of identifying the problem, finding a solution, drilling it, testing it, repeating it, you will get better at jiu-jitsu very, very fast. You're not only because you're putting in extra time outside of class, which is always great. You're always going to get better than your peers in your class if you're putting in a little extra mat time. Mat time, you can't replace it. But it's not just that you're putting in more time. It's the type of time you're putting in. You're putting in intelligent, intentional time. Okay, you're not just going out there and rolling. You will get better just going out there and rolling. It'll happen. It's just more mat time. You'll see more things. Your body will get more fluid and used to the movements. But the person who's training intentionally, who's identifying their gaps and actively working to plug them, or actively adding new stuff to their game, new tools to the arsenal, okay, is going to get better much, much faster. All right. So I definitely recommend this process. I'll post it in the comments, just the bullet points of it. Let me know if you have any other questions about the jiu-jitsu world or getting better at jiu-jitsu, training jiu-jitsu, whatever. Happy to do more videos like this, guys. I hope this was helpful to you. Be safe out there. Os.
BJJ for breakfast.